this exercise is for limb independence. I learned it from Marco Miniman, but there's a whole book about limb independence exercise. It's called Extreme Interdependence, Drumming Beyond Independence. So this is where you learn most of the independence exercises. It's written by Marco Miniman and Rick Greton. It is very helpful for this kind of setting. If you want to like have independence, if you want to learn to play polyrhythms, anything that you're not used to, or if you have like a 2 hi-hat setup and also double bass, you're using all your limbs on every direction, so that will help you with that. This is a very simple one. There's more complicated ones, but this one is basically you're alternating a 16th note between the lower limbs and then an 8th note on the higher limbs. So basically you're playing a 16th note on the foot and then playing an 8th at the same time on the hand. So basically just start very slow with it. Any exercise that's very complex or has some complexity to it, start very slow so that you understand it, and then your limbs kind of start to know what's going on. So with this one, I'm going to start with 16th note on the feet and then 8th note with the hands. So I will go like this. So it goes like this. I messed it up. So it goes like 16th on the foot and just 1/8, and then here 16th on the hi-hat. And it's very slow now, but when you're doing it on the hi-hat is doing like this flashing sound, and the kick is doing like doom, tsh, doom, tsh, twice, like doom, doom, tsh, tsh, doom, doom, tsh. That sound is like how I learned when I was playing the Middle Eastern drums. It was like all doom, tek, doom, tek. That's how we felt rhythm. So you just start feeling the rhythm. It's very slow, but then you start grasping the rhythm, have an understanding of like where the pulse is, and then it doesn't become an exercise. It becomes more like, oh yeah, that's a rhythm and I got it, and you start kind of grooving a little bit. So you just start very slow, and it's very easy to kind of mess it up because you're playing 16th here and then 16th here, and you have to make sure you're not playing them on the hands. So that's why it's independence exercise. So you go again like this. And then you can turn it into a groove. Sometimes you feel like, oh yeah, I want to play it, and you play it around the kit. But that's how you kind of start practicing it. And what I was doing is I was starting with playing the right side of my limbs, basically right hand, right foot, and then switching to left hand, left foot. You can always switch directions and do right hand, right foot 16th, and then play the left hand with the right foot, and then the opposite direction to the other limbs. So basically it would be like this. So that's kind of the main sound, and it's okay to mess up when you're just starting it. You kind of get it as you go. And then the other combination would be switching now 16th notes on the higher limbs and 8th on the lower ones. So you're basically kicking the bass drum once, hi-hat once, and you're playing 2 hits on each hand with each foot. So you're doing 2 hits on the hand and 1 on the kick. And then same with the hi-hat, just you start feeling the groove, like boom, ch, boom, ch. That's what you're hearing mainly, and then there's dum 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 in your hands. So it becomes a groove to your ear, and you just kind of start doing them over and over again. And if you'll notice that if you don't do this exercise like daily, then you kind of start forgetting it, and that's okay. Or even if you do it daily, sometimes Some days are better than others, and if you mess up, you just go again and practice it, and go back to it. It's kind of tricky to the brain because you're switching limbs, and it's not in the context of the song or music. So you're just kind of thinking of, okay, which limb am I doing what? So basically, you can just do 16th note on the feet, 8th on the hands, switch limbs, alternate between them, and then do 16th on the hands, and then 8th on lower limbs, and so on. That's the main purpose of this exercise.